Blog
Hi.
Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Rea Bae, award-winning and best-selling author, Fire and Ice, The Journey of Transformation, and The White Within. You can find out more about me on my website, dianabewaros.com. And since October is Domestic Violence Prevention Month, I'm inviting warriors, women who know how it feels to be in domestic violence and toxic relationships, sharing their stories, and we work together to make sure that women who are in domestic violence situation get out before the worst happened and before they end up dead, because so many women end up dead at the end, not believing in themselves and afraid to get out of toxic relationship. So her name is Rea Bae. I hope I'm pronouncing her name the right way. So thank you for being on my show. Thank you for helping, and thank you for what you do. Please tell us your story. What happened to you?
Okay. So with me, I had met this guy at work, and honestly, he gave me those chills upon meeting him even. But I ignored that. Like, I just had that bad gut feeling. But I ignored it because, he's cute and, he was buying me food, so I thought he was nice. Well, we started dating, and things were good for the first couple weeks. It started out wonderful. We'd go to the movies, we'd hang out, and then one night I went to sleep, and I woke up to him pulling my hair, yelling at me, "Why are you texting your children's dad about the kids?" And just something real stupid. He was drunk. Well, I ignored that. Then this was 3 months in. It was January, I think, 21st. We went over to his friend's house, and he got beyond drunk. He got blackout drunk. So we're driving home. I'm lost because I had only just moved to the area a couple months before that. I finally get us home, or we were almost home, and then he yells at me to pull over because he was going to drive. The whole drive, he's sitting there cussing me out, telling me that he was going to destroy my brand new car that he was driving. He was going to do it on purpose so that I couldn't go to work. And I kept trying to tell him, you need the car for you to go to work. Well, we finally get back to the house, and I grabbed the keys from the ignition. He reached over, he shoved his whole fist into my mouth and yanked down. I fought him off, and then he proceeded to punch me. I got out. I tried to call 911. He broke my phone, so I went running up to the door. His mom let me in and locked him out. His mom called the police, but by the time the cops had gotten there, he had taken off running. Well, I packed my stuff up and I left, which means I had to leave my car because he had taken the keys with him. And I only mention it like that because that was what made me go back to him. A week later, he got a hold of me, and because my phone was actually shut off at the time because I had to pay his phone bill, not mine. So a week later, on payday, I turned my phone on, and he got a hold of me. to tell me that the car was okay. He had talked to the police. See, I had never heard back from the police. He said that he had talked to the police the next day when he was sober. And because, this is what he said because he had marks on him that the cops said they had to drop it or charge us both. Well, I didn't follow up on it. I just went with what he said. So I went back to get my car, and upon doing so, he was in one of those real sweet moods, and me not listening to my gut again, I ended up going back with him. Doing that was the biggest mistake. I was with him for 3 years in total, and within those 3 years, he choked me to the point where I blacked out. He would choke me once a week, but the one time it was to the point where I had actually blacked out. And I think he would have kept going had he been able to hold me down, because he had pushed me under the bed while he was choking me. It's a little bit emotional talking about it. But
yeah, it's okay.
He hit me a couple times, like we were play fighting, which in my opinion is something that I shouldn't have done, knowing how he gets. But we were play fighting, and then he would actually get to that point because, it hurt him too bad, so he would punch me, like full force. Every time I tried to leave, he would help me pack my stuff, start bringing it to the car, and then out of nowhere, he would just randomly take all my stuff back in that was out in the hallway before I could get the rest of it. That happened multiple times, like had me feeling crazy. Like I punched my steering wheel a couple times because I knew I wanted to hit him, but obviously I'm not going to do that. Had me feeling like there was no way out. And then finally, he had cut me off from all my family, all my friends, everybody. And finally, I had a coworker. I memorized my coworker's phone number because I couldn't store it in my phone. Because, he was always accusing me of cheating on him, which in a twist of fate, he was the one cheating on me. But he would always accuse me of it, so he would always go through my phone, all that. But that coworker's phone number, I had it memorized. Now, one day, he finally got a job. Like, after 2.5 years, he finally went and got a job. Because along with his alcoholism, he had actually gotten his third DUI while we were together. He was locked up for 6 months. And me being who I am, I stayed with him during those 6 months. I would put money on the phone to be able to talk to him multiple times a day because he would always find a way to call me and call me and call me. That way he could make sure what I was doing. I would give him money on his books is what they call it, where I give it to him for commissary and stuff like that, to the point where I had no money to pay my bills. My entire check was going towards him. Like I said, one day he finally got a job, and I just sat there just thinking and thinking. I told my coworker that Friday. I said, Tuesday morning, I am going to be calling you to come pick me up. My coworker, he kind of blew it off thinking, well, she's not going to leave. Because one time I had left him, I got home from work at 6 o'clock in the morning. He had locked me out of my apartment. So I left him for 2 days and went and came and lived with my coworker for those 2 days. Then I ended up going back to him when I went to get my stuff. He put on that sugar sweet act again, and once again I thought he was going to change. But back to what I was saying, I had told my coworker I was going to call him on Tuesday morning because I couldn't call him on Monday because it was a holiday, and my boyfriend wasn't going to be at work. So Tuesday morning rolled around. He woke up for work. He left out the door, bye, I love you. But this time he took my phone with him. He took my phone and his phone. Well, we were in a hotel at the time because he had made me lose my apartment because all the money had to go to his alcohol rather than paying bills. So he effectively messed my credit up too. But Tuesday morning, I got up, I wrote him a letter, and I kept it real nice, but I made sure to tell all the hard truths in it. And I had bought myself a little cheap ring from Walmart, but he made me wear it on my hand to make it look as though we were married. I left that ring and the letter, packed all my stuff up, went to the hotel next door, used their phone, and I called my coworker to come pick me up. That half an hour waiting at the other hotel for my coworker to get there was probably the scariest half an hour of my life. Like, even beyond him choking me, beyond all that, because I knew that if he were to find me, that would probably be the last time. His violence just throughout the years got progressively worse and worse. And so I was scared, but my coworker finally got there. And happy twist, it was not expected and not at all planned, but me and my coworker eventually started dating. We've been together for a couple years now, and I'm finally able to go to work without, I still get worried that he's going to come in the door one day and see me, and I don't even know what would happen. But my happiness within my new life, it's to be able to go to sleep without worrying about getting woke up to my hair being pulled or woke up to him yelling at me over something, just all that. It's so wonderful to be able to get a full night's sleep. Even with the kids, I'm still able to sleep so much better.
Yeah, it's so scary. It's absolutely devastating. So many women are going through the same thing, and I've been the same boat as you, and I know how it feels, and they continue to try to be in your life because they're losing control over you, and narcissists, that's how they feed you now, and that's how they exist. It's absolutely devastating how damaging one relationship like this can be and how this can take a toll on your life for a long, long time. And the traumatic experience is huge. So can you tell me, did you have a chat with this person and how the child was feeling during this whole, chaos in the house?
No. Actually, my ex-husband, not my ex-boyfriend, I have kids with him, and he actually has custody of them. So me and my then boyfriend, the one that used to abuse me, we had no kids together. And I'm grateful for that because, Lord only knows what could have happened had there been kids in the situation. Now, when I was allowed to see my kids, and I say that because, as I said, he cut off all ties to any family. He would occasionally let me call my kids or occasionally let me see my kids. And when he did, he was always with me, and he was always real nice, like trying to be the stepdaddy figure, let's spoil the boys, all that. But like I said, on the flip side, he wouldn't let me see them but like twice a year. And that tore me apart, not being able to see my kids, because I knew that I would get beat for it. It wasn't that I was choosing him over my kids. It was I didn't know how to see my kids because there's a possibility that he could kill me if I did. So I just thought it best to kind of, I didn't think it best. I just didn't know how to get out.
You're talking about your first relationship with your husband with whom you have children, right now?
No, my first husband, the one that I have the children with, he's still a wonderful dad. He would let me see the kids anytime I like. My ex-boyfriend that used to abuse me, he's the one that would not let me see the kids.
Oh my gosh. So controlling. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So how did you get out of this relationship? Was it easy? What did you do?
No, it really, once I got a plan in my head, because like I said, I tried to leave multiple times and he would not let me go. But once I got that plan in my head to leave once he went to work, emotionally it was hard because I was terrified that he would find me and kill me. I felt wrong leaving him because I had promised him that I would be there no matter what. So it felt like I was breaking a promise. But at the same time, I knew that for my life, I had to leave. So that made it easier to do emotionally. Physically, it really wasn't that hard. Everything was already in suitcases because we were staying in the hotel. I was just able to wake up, pack my stuff, and leave.
So he was having substance abuse problem, right? And he wanted you to spend all the money on him and nothing else, and it was very controlling.
Yes, he controlled all finances, even before he started working. I would work. he wouldn't let me get 2 jobs, but I would work overtime. That way I was working 6 to 7 days a week just to be able to support his habits. Like, he smoked Black and Milds and drank. I smoked cigarettes. He would not let me get my kind of cigarettes. I would have to buy the cheap brand of cigarettes for myself. If I wanted like an energy drink, I had to buy the cheapest energy drink rather than getting the kind that I actually liked. When it came to eating, it was always he eats first. Like, period. I was not allowed touching my food until he was working on the second plate. Right? He just had so many controlling issues over everything. Like I said earlier, he wouldn't even let me pay the bills to keep a roof over our head because he wanted to spend the money on what he wanted to spend it on.
Typical narcissist. It's absolutely devastating. Do you mind me if I ask you what happened in your first marriage? Why did you decide to leave your first husband? What happened?
No, it was just, we had gotten married when I was only 17. My mom had to sign for us to get married. And really we had just grown apart. You know, we still cared about each other, but we just weren't compatible anymore. We had 3 sons, and he actually made me be a stay-at-home mom because he was raised that the man is supposed to provide for the family, period. So when we got a divorce, I had nothing. I was actually, like, sleeping on my mom's couch or sleeping on a friend's couch, trying to get a job. So in the divorce, he has custody of the kids because as a mother, I could not have them couch jumping with me, knowing that their dad had a stable home and would be able to get them to school and take care of them and feed them, because there were days where I went without eating. He would actually bring me food every once in a while. That way he knew that I was eating. But, so, I mean, he's a wonderful man and an amazing father, but we just grew apart.
Yeah. I can understand. It was like arranged marriage. You had no choice. There wasn't any love, and you were different personalities. I can understand that very well. Just, for the listeners, so they will know what's going on. So you're definitely a warrior, and thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'm sure this is going to make a huge difference in somebody's life, and it's going to give them a courage, to get out. When it comes to substance abuse and control, this is totally unacceptable. You shouldn't stay in a relationship like this. And you can definitely build life for yourself like you did it in this case. And thank you so much for being on my show, and we will keep in touch. And I'm sure your story again is going to save a life, because as I found out, you were able actually to cope in any situation, no matter how dangerous it was. And you just need to find a strength inside yourself to fight back. So what is your advice to the women who are in the similar situation like yours?
My advice is definitely, number one, to get out. Don't think that they're going to change, because they're not. And there's always women's shelter, domestic violence shelters, stuff like that. If you need, there are resources out there. Please use them, because the next time might be the last.
Yeah. And everyone has a strength, and women need to have faith in themselves, believe in themselves, and find enough power to get out of a relationship that is like yours in this case, drugs and alcohol and everything involved. So thank you so much for being on my show. We are almost at the end of the show today. And what is the way for anybody who would like to talk to you, how they can get in touch with you? Can you share us your media places, please?
Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me and speak to me about their situation or ask me questions about mine, my Facebook is Rea Bae, that's ReaBea, and I will gladly be there to speak to anybody, anytime.
Yeah, and you're part of my group, National Coalition Against Domestic Violence by Diana Belarus, and the show is available to download for free on Blog Talk Radio, Player FM. You can listen it to any device you wish. And believe in yourself, make sure that you're safe, reach for help, talk to anybody. Don't stay in toxic and dangerous relationship, because things are not going to improve. Things are not going to go into the right direction, and things are going to get worse, and you can end up like so many women. So thank you so much to the listeners. Thank you so much, Rea Bae, and I wish you an amazing week. Thank you.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So my radio show is going to be next week. Like this week, I'm going to have another show on Friday, and I'm going to have another on Saturday. And Sunday, we're going to have a Zoom meeting with women, victims of domestic violence and abuse, sharing their stories and helping others, and the help is always free. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and be loved, be kind, be compassionate, don't stay quiet. Speak, it makes a difference, and be there for the victims of domestic violence, because this is a crime against women and needs to be stopped, and we need new love. Thank you so much. Goodbye.